Hello people of the Earth! A week has already passed since the American elections, and the Earth's still going pretty well. Unbelievable! Seriously, we must admit that both choices were shit. As many people said, it was a bit like choosing between herpes and gonorrhea. Anyways, it's always the big corporations that have the right to say on everything. And don't tell me that Trump is independent, and even if he was, he still has some personal interest. By example, he invested $1 million in the Energy Transfer Partners that is behind a really controversial project, Dakota Access Pipeline. So he's more willing to have a couple jobs and make tons of money than to preserve the sources of potable water. And anyways, I think that everything's perfect and everything happens for reason. But that's not the subject of the video today. I wrote something about it a couple days ago, so if you want to know it, just go see it. The main thing I want to say to you is that in every election, no matter for who you voted, that's not what matters. No matter who's elected, we get imposed some things that we don't want. The only thing that matters is that we don't let ourselves believe that is the only vote that we have. What matters is what you do with it. It's what you do every single other day of your life. Because our citizen duty is not just to vote on a piece of paper every 4 years. We must remember that those criminals only have power because we let them have this power. Because we're collectively convinced that we have no choice but to accept their decisions, to submit ourselves to politics and to the desires of our whole big government. We must remember that no one rules if no one obeys. It's the principal purpose of the elections, to make us believe that change is coming. You'll see in next elections everything will be alright. Some new horizons are to come. You just have to make a better choice. Is to make us constantly believe that the next politician is probably the good one. And until that, they'll listen to the law, because the law is the law. Let's stop that. Change cannot happen by those who are there, so it doesn't change. And if what we want is to be free, why do we want to elect someone for it? If we need someone to give us our freedom, we're not free. Freedoms cannot be asked, they can only be taken. If we are free, we don't have to ask for someone to be free. We are free, we just do it. So the vote is not every 4 years, it's every single day in every instance of your life. It starts by stopping to accept what the government wants to impose us, and starting to manage ourselves, to manage our own lives, to manage ourselves locally, one community at a time. At the beginning, laws are defined by our collective consent. So if we collectively decide that one law doesn't make any sense, it doesn't make any sense. And it's not applied anymore. And it can be applied in both senses. If we all decide that something must be applied and should be applied, and we create a law between each other, that becomes a law. We naturally do it with our friends, with our family, and it can be done on a larger scale, and with a community, with a town, or anything. And if you think that people are not wise enough to manage themselves, like my good friend Edouard Abbé once said, anarchism is founded on the observation that since few men are wise enough to rule themselves, even fewer are wise enough to rule others. Isn't that logical? Stop believing in authority, start believing in each other. And if you're one of those that believe that anarchism will lead us to chaos, do you really think that it could be more chaotic than what it is right now? And we are programmed to always want the approval of governments. But can we do it? Do we have the right? No, it's sure they don't want it. Sure we don't have the right. Well, we do have the right if we give ourselves the right, but it's sure they don't want to. As was saying my good old friend Martin Luther King Jr., one has the moral responsibility to disobey unjust law. And it's perfect. There's an awesome example of a direct democracy and self-management that is going on right now. In North Dakota, there's an occupation at Standing Rock Sioux Reservation, where thousands of indigenous people and people from all around the world gather to stop the Dakota Access Pipeline project that I just mentioned before. There's also some other examples like that, like the Unistoten camp in so-called BC. They have been occupying for more than 7 years against the pipelines. And in both cases, government are insisting to say that this is their lands and they have all the rights to do their projects. But people there know their rights and apply them. They are standing their grounds. They know that governments and corporations' declarations are criminal and are based on lies and genocide. Maybe they're legal, but certainly not moral. And you know the difference between a slave and a free man? A slave asks himself what's legal. A free man asks himself what's right. I think that there are some awesome examples of self-management and freedom, and these subjects are really more important than what's going on in the election. It's why I'm talking about it right now. It's a fight for everyone, for next generations, because these projects are directly threatening potable water and food and autonomy for everyone. If we wish to be free one day and to finally take our decisions, we need to inspire ourselves from them and join them, because they really need ourselves right now. They really need our physical support. The police is constantly trying to remove them from there. They need us to talk about it, to support them, to sing songs for them, to send them love, send them prayers, and to show everyone that that we support them. And before everything, we must remember that the only vote that counts is our money. It's not by wishing to elect someone who will give less power to corporations that we will do so. It's by ourselves giving less power to these corporations with our money. It's not a wizard thing. And without our money at the end, the corporation cannot survive. So the boycott is a really powerful weapon. Every day that we buy something, we vote for the world we want to live in. If we always buy to big corporations, we give our money to billionaires. And the poor people with local businesses just fall and just die and just disappear. I understand that sometimes it can cost more to buy local, even if sometimes it's a myth and it's not even true. But it's a vicious circle. If we give money to the people of our community and to our brothers and sisters, they become richer and they can lower the prices. The more there is some demand, the more it's easy to lower the prices. And it's logical that it costs less if things come from here compared to something that comes from China. If all our needs are filled by people from our community in a really sustainable way that doesn't destroy the environment, now we're in business. Local. And those green and local alternatives, once again, change cannot happen by those who are there, so it doesn't change. So they will come from us, not from big corporations. In conclusion, I think it's our duty to incarnate our rights and our freedoms and our self-management and our direct democracy, and to stop financing global corporate power by giving us the tools to do it, the capacities to do it, the alternatives to do it. It's to us to create our world. Change is you and change is me. Power is you and power is me. And it's on your own life and it's on my own life. Yep, this year, this winter, every single day of my life, I vote for myself. And I invite you to vote for yourself. So that's it, that's all. Fuck the elections! Democracy my ass! Return to the sources. Power to the people. Vote for nobody. And vote intelligently with your money. Free yourself to free the world. Our revolution, so awaited, is arrived. And it's green.